Welcome to Educational Nexus Point. Today we are starting with a new unit, that is People Development and Environment. Both UGC NET and KSET almost have the same syllabus for People Development and Environment. So let's start the session. You can just go through the syllabus. I have already briefed the syllabus in my first video. So it was my first thing which I have done for you for this time. Okay, so let's start with the basics of environment. Though the syllabus starts with development and environment, MDGs and SDGs, we have to study some basic things which is also asked in the examination. So first let's see the concept of ecology. What is ecology? Ecology is a term which was coined by a German scientist, zoologist, Ernst Haeckel in the year 1866. So he was the one who gave the name as ecology. He was a zoologist and a scientist. Okay, he derived it from the Greek word oikos. Oikos means house or the place where the organisms stay, dwelling place. Logos means study. So the study of the dwelling place is called as ecology. So that is oikos and logos. Okay, ecology is the study of relationships between the living organisms and their environment. So what we study in ecology is the relationship between the living organisms and the environment. You can take any bird, any animal, any plant, human being, anything with the environment is called ecology. We have few types of ecology, that is population ecology, community ecology. The population ecology includes one kind of population. If it is human population, it is human population ecology. If it is some bird in specific, it is that population. The community is the place where we human beings live, along with us the plants live, along with that we have birds, animals, everything. So that forms the community ecology. Organismal ecology, that is the various types of organisms which live in the same place, same dwelling place is called organism ecology. So then comes landscape ecology. Landscape ecology is a specific organism or specific type of living beings which live in the particular landscape. Taking an example of a desert, it is a landscape. So taking an example of a desert, we can find camel, we can find cactus and everything there. So that is particular to that landscape. It is present in that ecology which is rarely found or which is not found in other ecology. Next comes ecosystem ecology, global ecology and conservation ecology. All these three are almost the same. Ecosystem ecology is a particular group of living beings living in a particular ecosystem. So global is taking earth as a whole for ecology. Conservation is we have to conserve our environment, our things, whatever is present today for our future generations. This comes under conservation ecology. Now coming to the concept of environment, the term environment refers to the complex of the physical, chemical and biological factor that surround and interact with an organism or the ecological community. So what is environment? Whatever is found in your surroundings is environment. Let it be living or non-living, let it be biotic or abiotic. So the word environ means surrounding. So thus came the word environment. It is a French word which constitutes both living and non-living, that is biotic and abiotic elements, which influence the growth of the organisms present in the environment. It influences the life, growth and the survival on the earth. So coming to the difference between ecology and ecology and environment, Ecology is basically concerned with the relationship between plant and man. Okay, so these things are both living. In other words, the branch of biology which deals with the relation of organism to one another, to their physical surrounding. Okay, but the environment is comprehensive term which relates to man nature relationship. It relates to plant, wildlife, land, water, man made things, as pollution resulting from industry and other technological development. Okay, coming to the biotic and abiotic factors. So environment consists of these two, biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living, in simple language, simple term. So you can find in the picture that we have certain living things and non-living things also. Biotic factors are all living things or once living organisms like plants, animal, fungi, bacteria. All these come under biotic only, that shape the environment. Okay, but abiotic factors are the non-living physical and chemical elements which is present in your surrounding, like sunlight, air, water, temperature, everything. These come under abiotic thing that helps the living things to survive. So abiotic things, what are abiotic? For example, we have wind, sunlight, soil, water, atmosphere and temperature. All these factors come under abiotic components, which doesn't have life, is abiotic. Then biotic. In biotic we have three factors, that is producers, consumers and decomposers. So what does the producers do? They are the level 1 or ground level species which produce the food for the community. So the community may include animals, plants, birds, insects, human beings, anything. So those who produce the food are called producers. Consumers you almost know, like we borrow or we bring the food from somebody. So the person who is dependent on producers for their food are called consumers. So what are decomposers? The algae, fungus and all those things which help in decomposition of the matter is called as decomposers. So we have certain important terms in environment. Individual, only one species, only one particular kind of species is called an individual. If we have the same species in more quantity, then it is called a population. If we have various group of animals, birds, plants and everything all living together is called as community. So in population we have animals, birds, plants, anything, but I have taken example as animals. So group of living beings which are of same species come under population, but different species come under community. Next, coming to the next term, habitat. Habitat is where a population live. Okay, habitat is a place where population live. Population is the similar kind of species. Okay, next is ecosystem. Ecosystem is a place where different community exists. That is a place and the organism that live in it. So everything is considered here. Next comes the biome. Biome is a group of ecosystems. Several ecosystems combined together forms the biome. So several biomes combined together forms the biosphere. All ecosystems on earth comes under the biosphere. Next, coming to the level of organization. We have different level of organization. We can say it as levels of biological organization. It starts from an atom. Atom is a small minute particle then combining one or more atoms with the existing one forms the molecule. Then comes the macromolecule. Then we get the cell, which is the living entity. In macromolecule, the DNA is attached and the cell is formed. So group of cells form the tissue. So group of tissues form the organ. Group of organs form the organ system. Group of organ system make an organism, and these organisms which live together form the population. These different populations living together forms the community. These community has different communities together forms the ecosystem, and all the ecosystem combined together forms the biosphere. So I think the concept is clear, though the image is not that clear. We will deal with the ecosystems with example. We have two kinds of ecosystem, that is natural and artificial or man-made. I have few examples here. So ecosystems consider grasslands, forests, deserts. This is terrestrial. But in natural we have another classification, that is aquatic. In aquatic we have marine, like oceans, seas, you know. We have further subdivision in aquatic, that is freshwater, like lakes, ponds and all. The next comes artificial or man-made, like aquarium or crop field. So coming to biosphere. Biosphere is a global ecosystem integrating all living beings and their relationships. It is the worldwide sum of all ecosystem where life exists. So you can see in the diagram that atmosphere plus lithosphere plus hydrosphere together forms the biosphere. So we need living entity, non-living entity, along with that supporting entity to form the biosphere. In this biosphere we have to study about three main things. First one is structural components. So biosphere exists at the intersection of three major physical spheres of the earth, that is lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Lithosphere is also called as geosphere. It is the outer crust or the landmass where the organisms live, or the plants which grow their roots. Hydrosphere is everything which is water. So it may be marine or it may be fresh water. Everything comes under hydrosphere. Next is atmosphere, the blanket of gas which surrounds the earth, which every living thing requires, living being requires. Okay, next comes the extent and scale. So we have three divisions in this. So vertical range. What is this vertical range? It is a span from deep sea hydrothermal vents and deep crustal rock layers. It travels around several kilometers into the atmosphere. And the system type, it operates as a virtually closed system for matter but acts as an open system for energy. For matter it is closed, but for the energy it is open. It is largely driven by photosynthesis, capturing the solar energy. Biodiversity, it hosts an estimated 3 to 30 million distinct species across various planetary biomes. So we have 3 to 30 million species in the biosphere. Next concept is core importance. What is this biosphere? Why is it important? Because it is a sphere which supports the life. It regulates the global climate. It maintains the essential life conditions through biogeochemical cycles. We have different kinds of cycles: oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, hydrogen cycle, everything. So it supports the life by regulating the climate. Atmospheric balance. It stabilizes the carbon dioxide and oxygen levels via the balance of photosynthesis and respiration. This is the main thing which is happening in the atmosphere level. So the exchange of the gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, is taking place. So that should be balanced so that the impact will be good for the living beings. Then we have again nutrient recycling, which facilitates the decomposition. So whatever is dead and decayed will be decomposed completely. It will be recycled, returning the critical organic matter and elements back to the soil and the oceans. So that in turn helps the producers to produce the food. Next topic, we have almost dealt with the basics of environment and ecosystem, ecology, everything. So we have a small topic called ecotone. What is this ecotone? Ecotone is the transitional region between two adjacent ecosystems. So we know that we have many ecosystems around. The adjacent region where the two ecosystems come together and contains some of the species and the characteristics of each one, and also contains the species of its own. So when two ecosystems come together, the region which joins the two ecosystem will have the species which has the characteristics and feature of both the ecosystems and also of its own. That place has its own. So an ecotone is a dynamic transition zone. It is like almost when the species are there, it will adapt to that conditions, and dynamic transition will be done where two different ecosystems or biomes meet and integrate. These boundaries often host high biodiversity because it will have the species of both the ecosystems. A phenomenon called the edge effect. What is this edge effect? As the species from both the ecosystem coexist alongside, unique organisms are adapted specifically to the transitional conditions. So what is edge effect? It refers to the changes in population or community structures that occur at the boundary of the two or more distinct biological habitats. This boundary region is known as ecotone. We here have some key characteristics and examples. Ecotone acts as ecological bridges and buffers. Some examples are estuaries and marshes, forest grassland boundaries, and alpine timberlines, alpine tundra mountains. So why this ecotone matters so much? Because they sit on the environmental gradient. Ecotones are highly sensitive to the climate changes and the human disturbances. Ecologists study these boundary zones because they act as early warning systems. First thing. Then wildlife corridors, because the movement of the animals or species takes place between the two ecosystems or two biomes. And finally, natural filters. Okay, it filters the pollutants and protects the environment for both the ends. Next topic is environmental or ecological niche. So in ecology, niche refers to the specific role or position of a species which occupies its environment. It encompasses not just its habitat but also its profession, how it survives, what it eats, what are its active hours, how do they interact with other species in the biotic and abiotic factors. So this is ecological niche. The ecological niche concept is composed of several key dimensions. What are those key dimensions? Firstly, it is habitat, the physical location where the organism stay, like forest or forest canopy or the bottom of the lake, where the sunlight is not entered much. Next comes the trophic level. Trophic level, it is the position in the food chain. Example, whether it is a primary producer or a herbivore or a predator or decomposer. How do they use the resource, what resource is consumed by them, how it utilizes them, Example, a bird that hunts an insect at a specific height in a tree. Environmental conditions are like how tolerant they are to the abiotic factors which are surrounding them, like temperature, moisture, and light. All these concepts serve as the key concepts or key dimensions for ecological niche. We have certain types of ecological niche. Those are fundamental niche and realized niche. In fundamental niche, the theoretical ideal space a species could occupy if there were no predators or parasites or competitors. Realized niche, the actual restricted space a species occupies in reality due to the pressure from other species. So, in fundamental, you have the freedom. In realized niche, it is like forcefully you are there. We again have edge effect here. We have already seen the edge effect refers to the changes in the population or community structure that occurs at the boundary or of two distinct habitats. These overlapping zone often have higher species diversity and population density because they allow the organisms from both the ecosystem access the resource of that place. So edge effect also introduces some vulnerable physical and biological dynamics like microclimatic changes, habitat fragmentation, and the edge species. So what is this microclimatic changes? The boundary experiences high wind exposure because it is two different kind of ecosystem. We have certain changes. It may be like wind exposure or temperature changes. We have fluctuation in humidity and fluctuations compared to habitat interiors. So what is this habitat fragmentation? When human activities break up large habitat, like harsh edge effects can penetrate deep into the interior. In this can threaten the species that require deep forest conditions. So we have edge species. What is this edge species? Certain opportunistic animals such as brown-headed cowbird, they thrive in these transitional zones and can outcompete native interior species. So these species are particular to this zone. So they are neither from A habitat or neither from B habitat, or neither from A ecosystem or neither from B ecosystem, but they are found in this region where both the ecosystems meet. The one such is brown-headed cowbird. And thank you for listening to me all this while. If you like my explanation, please like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more updates. Let me know if at all you are preparing for KSET and what is your paper 2, and do you want the explanation in Kannada language also? So subscribe to my channel and follow me. Thank you. Have a nice day.